pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Beagle,
I'm here.
Deputy Mayor Resnick,
Present.
Councilmember Behrman,
Here.
Councilmember Gotchel,
Here.
Councilmember Grenlund Fox is excused, Councilmember Sharp,
Present.
Councilmember Smiley,
Here.
quorum present.
Thank you. Changes or additions to the agenda as presented tonight. City Manager.
Mayor, I would like to make an addition to the agenda as a walk-on item to address a resolution that was passed by council in September of 2021. We're looking to add some information to that resolution and repass it with that added information to satisfy some requirements from the grantee, or the grantor, I should say.
All right. Very good. We'll add that as new business number 5. Anything else from the dais? All right. Next up is a presentation. We've got the oath of office for firefighter EMT Gregory Balajian. Chief Roberts.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. It gives me great pleasure tonight to introduce you to Greg Balajian. Greg's joined here tonight with his parents, Cheryl and Kevin. They're not new to the city of Wixom. They lived here for a dozen or so years, only moving a short time ago to South Lyon. Greg joined the fire department in 2016. He joined as a recruit firefighter, and he completed all his probationary requirements to be promoted to the rank of firefighter EMT. Greg subsequently joined the Navy, and he has served our country with distinction, receiving the Battle E Award for the ship's state of readiness. We were very fortunate over the last several years that Greg could join us when he was home on leave and help out the fire department where needed. Greg received his discharge last month from the Navy and was at the rank of E4. He comes to us with his training from the military and to complete what he started several years ago, and he shared with me today that he enjoys long walks on the beach.
You solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Michigan, the Charter and ordinances of the City of Wixom, Oakland County, Michigan, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties and responsibilities of firefighter EMT according to the best of your ability.
I will.
Congratulations.
Hey, Greg, you want to come up and say a few words too?
Sure.
Bring out the speech.
Did too many of those in the Navy. Keep this one short and sweet. I just want to say thank you guys for giving me the opportunity. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to take on this role. Kind of been wanting to do this the whole time. So I got a little bit more training in the Navy. So hopefully I can bring a little bit of something new to the department, maybe. You know. But I also want to thank the guys that I work with every day. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So.
Great, thanks. Thank you for your service and congratulations and welcome back to the family.
Thank you for your support.
As they say, let's eat cake.
We'll take a few minute break right now for a little reception. Yeah. Approval of minutes. We've got one set of minutes to approve tonight. That's from the regular city council meeting of February 22nd, 2022. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Support.
Any questions, additions, corrections? Seeing none, I got a motion and a second to approve the regular city council meeting minutes of February 22nd, 2022. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have no correspondence. Next up is the first call to the public. The rules for the call to the public are as follows. The public shall address the council during the call to the public, which shall be included on the agenda immediately after correspondence and again immediately after new business. The first call to the public immediately after correspondence shall be limited to agenda items only. A person shall not address the council in excess of 5 minutes unless the time is extended by a majority of the council present. Persons wishing to address the council shall identify themselves and their place of residence and shall state their reason for addressing the council, and all comments by the public shall be made directly to the council. Do we have any public for the first call to the public? Seeing none, I'll close the first call to the public and move on to city managers' reports. We got 2 reports tonight. First one's the fire monthly report of January 2022. Any questions for Fire Chief Roberts? Getting off easy tonight. Police monthly report of January 22nd, 2022. Any questions for Public Safety Director? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. All items under the consent agenda are listed routine by City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the items will be removed from the consent agenda and added to the regular agenda at the end of unfinished and new business. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All right, I got a motion and a support to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have no unfinished business, which moves us on to new business number 1 is a recommendation to authorize an addendum to extend the expiration of the DDA Director Professional Service Agreement till June 30th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
So. Support.
Assistant Manager Benson.
So this item is before you all tonight to request the authorization of a short-term extension of DDA Director Laura Cloutier's contract. The main reason for this request is to align her contract, which is historically on a 1-year basis, to align with the fiscal year for the city and for the DDA. Currently, the contract would expire on March 16th, and it was the desire of the DDA to have her contract line up with fiscal years. So this proposed addendum would only change the length of her contract to match until June 30th. And in the interim, her annual review would be completed, and any potential extensions or other modifications to the contract would then be taken to the DDA board and brought forward to City Council. This is being brought to City Council primarily because the aggregate financial cost would be over the city manager's $10,000 spending limit, but is accounted for in the budget as we do budget on a fiscal year amount. So with that in mind, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions? Okay, I got a motion and a second to approve the recommendation, to authorize an addendum to extend the expiration of the DDA Director Professional Service Agreements to June 30th, 2022. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Laura. Get to your daughter's banquet now. Thanks for coming. New business number 2 is a recommendation to approve the introduction of an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances for the City of Wixom, Title I, General Provisions, Chapter 1.08, Voting Precincts, by adding Section 1.08.030, Precinct 2, and Section 1.08.040, Precinct 3. All those, do I have a motion? So move.
Support.
Madam Clerk.
Thank you. As you can see by the report, Precinct 3 is very close to the limit allowed by the election law, which is 2,999 registered voters. Precinct 2 is our smallest. So we have come up with the idea of extending Precinct 2 all the way down to the southern border of Wixom, so that all of the voters on the west side of Wixom Road would be moved to Precinct 2. That would be approximately 560 voters that we would be moving, and it would make all of the rest of the precincts a little bit more in line with that 2,999, a little bit closer to being even. The Election Commission met on February 28th, and they approved this idea. The voters would all be notified by new ID cards that would have to be mailed out, as well as on the website and e-notifications, social media, things like that. Emails to homeowners association as well. And an ordinance is required, so this would be the introduction. Are there any questions?
Councilmember Gottschall, then we'll go to Deputy Mayor Resnick.
I know with the southwest portion of the city, they are in South Lyons schools, so their ballot looks a little bit different. I don't imagine it would have any impact on anything, but does this change impact like your process or how smooth anything would typically go?
No, those voters, right, currently they're in Precinct 3, so when there's a school election for South Lyon, they have a split ballot, which means 2 ballot styles. Instead of Precinct 3 having it, it would be moved to Precinct 2.
Okay, so not really.
No different,
More
just a different location.
Then the only other question, I know the one precinct, is it Precinct 3 that's closed right now? Let me go back.
Yes.
So being that there's not really, I mean, it's like 40 people, or not 40, 300 people difference. Being that there's no new development in that area though, because it's primarily commercial from here on out, do we really see us getting to the current limit if it wasn't increased to 4,000?
Well, Precinct 3, right now, it's at 2946, so it's really close to that 2999. That's all the apartments here, and they fluctuate all the time. So, yeah, I think it would be, I think this is the way to go.
Okay. I just want to make sure, and hopefully we can, especially being an election year this year, aside from like what we have to do, hopefully we can really send out a separate mailing if it's in the budget to everybody that did get changed, because I know people show up confused enough of where do I go? And so I said we have the maps out, but with the change, I know that's going to kind of screw up a few people's plans or what they remember doing. So, thank you.
Deputy Mayor Resnick, and then Councilmember.
Thank you, Mayor. So, Madam Clerk, it really is just the Leisure Co-op and Wixom Meadows subdivisions that are affected by the change. Is that correct?
Yes, there's a couple houses on Pontiac Trail that will be affected,
Okay.
and I think one house on Wixom Road
Okay.
that will be affected, but that's it.
Yeah, and they'll be subtracted from the current 3 and added to 2. So.
Correct.
And there's really all that's all commercial property. It's GPUD and industrial. So okay. All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Councilmember Behrman.
Thank you. I guess my only question would be is, because where the current 2 is now is going to be basically the remainder of our residential developments, do you ever see the point where that will get above the $3,000 or 3,000 limit once that Maple Road property is developed and the other subs?
That would still be another like 400 voters.
Do you think we'll be fine regardless?
I think so.
And then you can address it at that time if so.
Right.
Does mean that, since I'm in precinct 2, that it'll be longer lines for me to vote, but I guess that's okay.
Absentee ballot. Any other questions? All right. I got a motion and a second to approve the recommendation to approve the introduction of an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances for the City of Wixom, Title I, General Provisions, Chapter 1.08, Voting Precincts by amending Sections 1.08.030, Precinct 2, and Section 1.08.040, Precinct 3. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business number 3 is a recommendation to award a bid to Northern Fence Company of Commerce Township, Michigan for the ball field replacement, fence replacement at Gilbert Willis Park in the amount of $44,875. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Support.
Ms. McGee?
Good evening. As you can see from the report, it's pretty straightforward. We're just doing the replacement fencing of the dugouts as well as the backstops at Gilbert Willis Park for both fields.
And we talked earlier, and he's ready to go on this, so if we give the approval tonight, then it won't interfere with any of the activities or leagues that will be taking place this summer. Very good. Any questions? Deputy Mayor Resnick?
Is the current one vinyl coated? I know the new one going in.
No, it's painted.
It's painted, okay, so the vinyl coating has a lot longer longevity too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Councilmember Smiley?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. They're not doing that backstop. There's another one kind of isolated right near the entrance.
No, that one's not included.
Yeah,
The
that's
tot lot, no.
top lot. It's called.
Well, I mean, it's the little.
Yeah, it's not.
Kids' space.
Use a ton and yeah. Okay, I just wanted to make sure because
No, just also number 1 and 2 that are by the pavilion.
Yeah, it's great that it's gonna be coated. That's
Yes.
nice. Okay, that's all I asked. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I got a motion and a second to approve the recommendation to award a bid to Northern Fence Company of Commerce Township, Michigan for the ball field fence replacement at Gilbert Willis Park in the amount of $44,875. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Recommendation, new business number 4 is a recommendation to accept the bid from KD Concrete of Commerce Township, Michigan for sidewalk replacement for an amount not to exceed $100,000. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Support.
Mr. Sigma.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we have several roads that the city is, sidewalks and pathways that the city is responsible for. We have a safety pathway presentation. We have several gaps that we're working on. One of the things that we have recognized over the last couple of years is there are a number of them along major roads that are in need of repair. And to eliminate slips, trips, and falls in the area, we want to replace portions of those sidewalks. So we set this out to bid, and we started looking at not only sidewalks, but also our concrete roads, which is also part of our capital improvement program. And we just specifically asked by the square foot for those replacements, and we've put it out to bid, and we've been talking actually with KD Concrete from Commerce for the last week or two, just looking at specifics on that, what it would look like, and making sure that their bids are good. They seem solid, and they seem to be able to do the work. So we want to give them a try on a number of sidewalks and then also some local roads.
Okay, very good. And I see again, we're teaming up with the Village of Milford and the City of Howell to get a better price
We
break
did.
on that. So
We did.
thank you
Yes.
for doing that.
Yep.
Any questions? Councilmember Sharp.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Sigma, so it says about the new construction, so will we be using the prices that are quoted for some of those, if we are successful in getting some of the easements and things like that, or are these ones that we already have and are ready to go?
Right, these we're not using any engineering on them because they're already in place. So there won't be any storm drainage issues. There's not anything, any underlayment that we're planning to put in. Some of the road replacements may need some pinning, but other than that, there's really no engineering involved other than our inspection.
Okay, so this is just for repair and replacement, not for, I read the sentence new, but that's our total path
That's our
program
total,
you're
right,
referring
yep.
to. Okay, got it, thank you.
Sure.
Anybody else?
Sorry to make that not clear.
That's all right, my
All
bad.
right. I've got a motion and a second to approve the recommendation to accept the bid from KD Concrete of Commerce Township, Michigan for sidewalk replacement for an amount not to exceed $100,000. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. You're welcome. New business number 5 is a recommendation to adopt another authorizing resolution reflecting the addition of the agreement number as a supplement to council action on September 28th, 2021 in relation to the Transportation Alternatives Program grant from the Michigan Department of Transportation and the Phase 2 Michigan Airline and Huron Valley Trail Project. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Support.
City Manager Brown.
So in September of 2021, you passed an authorizing resolution and also covered the information about why we were processing that. We authorized the Phase 2 project and accepted or certified the Transportation Alternatives Program grant from the Michigan Department of Transportation. So there were essentially 3 actions that were taken on September 28th, 2021, the last of which was that authorizing resolution. Today, it was brought to our attention that there were concerns about that. With the resolution that we submitted at the time, there was no agreement number in place with the Michigan Department of Transportation on that. That's consistent with the way that the process went on Phase 1 of the trail. However, this time they raised an issue today with concerns that it did not reflect the agreement number in the resolution that was passed. We were trying to work through that with the Michigan Department of Transportation and decide whether that was really necessary to address that. By the end of business today, we did not hear back with either an affirmative or a negative on that. So in an abundance of caution, we're proceeding with a new resolution that adds that agreement number just so that we can proceed with the project. If we fail to do that, we could face an additional 2-week delay until the 22nd when next you meet. So we're just being proactive on this and addressing it after it was brought to our attention today. So that's the reason for the walk-on item that was provided to you today. It's relatively, I try to keep it simple. We're just adding that agreement number to the resolution, and I provided the prior action, the prior report, the prior resolution from the September 21 time period.
Any questions? All right, seeing none, I got a motion and a second to approve the recommendation to adopt another authorizing resolution reflecting the addition of the agreement number as a supplement to council action on September 28th, 2021 in relation to the Transportation Alternatives Program grant from the Michigan Department of Transportation and the Phase 2 Michigan Airline and Huron Valley Trail Project. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, and that concludes the new business portion of tonight's meeting. We'll move on to the call to the public, the second call to the public. The rules are the same with the exception of you can speak whatever's on your mind. Do we have anybody who would like to speak at the second call to the public? Step up to the podium, name and address, please.
Good evening, I'm Teresa Renault. I actually live in Commerce. I'm State Senator Runstadt's district director, here to say we support the council, the city, the resources. Thank you for everybody. I'll stay to the end in case there's anything that I can do to take back to Lansing for you guys, but just wanted to say thank you for everything that you guys are doing.
Thank you. Anybody else for the second call to the public? Seeing none, I'll close the second call to the public and move on to City Manager's comments. City Manager Brown?
Thank you, Your Honor. The City Manager update has a happy news kind of thing that we provided, which is congratulations to local businesses that were honored in the March 2nd edition of the Spinal Column's Best of West Oakland County Reader's Choice Awards. There's a long listing of businesses in the city of Wixom that were named best beer selection for the Drafting Table Brewing Company, best baked goods buttercream bake shop in second place there, best caterer Wixom Station, best brunch Lena's Kitchen. There's just a variety of businesses that were recognized for outstanding work that they do in the city of Wixom, and we wanted to pass on our congratulations to them. As I said, there's probably better than 10 bullet points on the first page and probably another better than 10 on the second page. There's lots of awards that the Wixom businesses were on the receiving end of, and we wanted to congratulate those businesses. And then also I wanted to mention that Crystal Opalco in our clerk's office satisfied the requirements prescribed by the Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks to advance to the second Michigan Professional Municipal Clerk Level 2. So congratulations to Crystal, and I know Kathy Buck much appreciates her support in the clerk's office, as do we, and we just wanted to congratulate her on that accomplishment. And also beyond that, there's a bunch of dates to remember with different events happening that were also covered in the city manager update. And that's all that I have. If there's any questions, let me know.
Assistant City Manager Benson, anything tonight?
I do. Just two quick updates. One more, kind of, well, actually, I have nothing but good news. Well, no, because it's happy news. I tried to think if I had something negative. The city will be partnering.
You don't need to counter that.
So the city will be partnering with the Lakes Area Chamber of Commerce and Oakland County Michigan Works to host a job fair. It's been a while since we've done one, specifically here in person in Wixom. Will be held on April 19th from 8 to 1 p.m. at 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Wixom Community Center. We're in the process of getting businesses who are interested in participating, their job opportunities involved, and we will also be doing a pretty wide distribution campaign to find individuals who might be looking for job opportunities to come out. So I'm very excited to be able to do that and to do it in person again after a few years of that not being an option. The other piece of good news is that Planning Commission at their meeting last night did approve the plans for Flint Development Phase 2, buildings C, D, and E. In conjunction with the existing GPUD agreement. There really aren't many, there's some slight deviations in terms of the size of the buildings, in terms of width and depth, but most other items are.
Did they add the egress lanes?
I had a feeling that you'd ask that. and the answer is no, they did not, and it's primarily because the Road Commission from Oakland County does not require them to on their road at this time based on the traffic volumes that have been confirmed and reconfirmed. There's been a lot of back and forth. The city did request that they proactively put in that southbound lane as well as the additional left turn in lane to do it now in anticipation that they will likely need it. The developer is, that is not how they feel at this time, and their traffic volumes simply don't warrant it from the RCOC's perspective. So with that in mind, we've made it clear to them that every development that comes in, we do review an updated traffic study, obviously with only one building that has existing tenants at this time. The other numbers that they use for buildings A, C, D, and E are we'll use the word hypothetical or proposed or expected. As those actual numbers come in when they do have tenants, it is very possible that those traffic volumes will change, the traffic study will update, and those improvements will be required. The one other thing I will note about the southbound lane, after a lot of discussion about it, is I think part of the problem is the presence of existing utilities. There's a fiber optic line, gas lines, as well as there's a concrete stormwater pipe that runs in that area from south the West Road, ingress egress down to the Alpha Drive. That's across the street from Alpha Drive. Those existing utilities make it more complicated, and therefore would prefer to be as delayed as possible in case they don't need to do it, is the rationale. And that was concurred with the Road Commission's decision on that. And it being their road and their right-of-way, they do have jurisdiction to make that choice.
And one more add-on on that, the development agreement does have language that spells that out. The southbound lane will become required when certain traffic thresholds are met within the development. I'm going to take another stab at having a conversation with the developer about it and try to persuade them that this would be a good faith gesture to make the city comfortable with the development at the front end, as well as being smart from a monetary standpoint, because paving it without that full southbound lane, tearing up that existing structure and then replacing it with that full southbound lane would be a more expensive proposition for them as well. And I'm going to remind them about the language in the development agreement that covers that, and that the city will intend to pursue our rights underneath that if the traffic thresholds are met.
Very good.
And that was all I had.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask one clarifying question?
Yeah.
When will this come before us?
My understanding is that it will not,
Not.
because it meets the original plan that was approved by City Council.
And perhaps we need to add that as an agenda item to consider the development agreement in the future.
Talk about it.
Deputy Mayor?
And knowing that it may not come back in front of us again, I just want to go on record saying that, I've been part of a lot of Oakland County traffic studies, and they do it based on counts, and they do not take into account the aggravation factor, which one only has to drive on Wixom Road during any of the rush hour or lunchtime periods and know that a large semi coming out of Wayfarer's warehouse, merging left one lane during those times is going to be a huge aggravation factor, and we really need to keep a close eye on that. I wish we could go back and enforce what we had talked about in the phase 1 when we said that will be completed all the way through westbound 96. I know that Oakland County will base it on traffic counts, but that's not the point here. So,
As I said, I'm going to pursue additional discussions with the developer, so we'll see how it turns out.
Very good. All right, we'll move on to council comments. Councilmember Smiley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple little things. Please tell State Senator Runstead that we say hello. Thanks for being here tonight. Congratulations to our new firefighter EMT, Greg Bale-Jan. And then when next we meet, it will be spring. Let's hope it feels like it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Very good. Councilmember Berman.
Thank you. Well, all I had before Drew's report was the congratulations to our new firefighter, Greg Bale-Jan. After listening to Drew's report, maybe if Drew or Steve could put together for us possible options and the possible outcomes and costs for us to consider, possibly re-looking at this development agreement, because that is clearly not what, I think I can speak for almost everybody up here, what we understood when they came before us the first time. And the fact that it was approved and that wasn't even addressed clearly shows in my eyes that they're not listening to what we're telling them. And maybe that wasn't expressed well enough by our staff, but I'm not comfortable letting them build 3 more buildings and have 3 more buildings of semi-trucks coming out on Wixom Road without those lanes being extended. And if that means that this needs to go to litigation, then that's where I see that it needs to go.
We've started putting together that documentation today. Not finished, but putting it together.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Councilmember Gatchell.
Thank you. I would like to welcome back our returning firefighter and thank him for his service to our country as well as the city of Wixom moving forward again. And then also congratulate our deputy clerk for her continued career advancement. Thank you.
Very good. Councilmember Sharp.
Thank you, Mayor. I also would like to congratulate firefighter EMT, and I'm going to look at Chief Roberts, make sure I get it right. Greg Bale-Jan.
100%.
Right. For joining the fire and EMT force. I know we desperately need young, qualified go-getters, and he seemed like he's a good guy. I'm just talking to him briefly here, so welcome. And I also want to thank Chief Moore and the traffic safety officer. Last week I noticed truck after truck just flying down Charms Road. We got it posted on both ends, local deliveries only, and these trucks are flying over to way over 30 miles an hour, going over to businesses on Buno Road. And so I was watching them go by, and lo and behold, I watched our traffic safety officer chase one of them down, go around the corner. I assume all was handled. I didn't ask any questions about it, but whatever happened, they stopped. So thank you very much for really worthwhile, as we all know, to have our safety officer on. I've seen him in some unique places recently, so keep your speeds down because he's hiding. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Resnick.
Thank you. I'll ditto a lot of comments on both the southbound lane and the congratulations. Also, when I picked up my copy of the Spinal Column and was looking through the Best of the West nominees, and I was talking to a recipient in Commerce Township. He said, wow, Wixom really cleaned up. We are so blessed as a community to have a lot of these businesses. They're small businesses, and if you look at it, 90% of them are family run by local area families. I think that's great, and I hope that as we get the Eastern retail built out eventually, that we attract more small businesses like that that make our community one of the best in the West.
And I'll just echo Deputy Mayor Resnick's comments on the Reader's Choice Awards, and I'd like to congratulate Crystal Apocolo on her advancement to being a professional municipal clerk level 2. Welcome back, and thank you for your service to our country, firefighter Gregory Balijan. And with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.